Hi everyone! My name's Naomi and we are going to be reading one of my favorite books, which is The Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein. This book is a collection of poems, so there's a bunch of fun little short stories and drawings. A Light in the Attic. There's a light on in the attic, though the house is dark and shuttered. I can see a flickering flutter, and I know what it's about. There's a light on in the attic. I can see it from the outside, and I know you're on the inside, looking out. How many? How much? How many slams in an old screen door? Depends how loud you shut it. How many slices in a bread? Depends how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day? Depends how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend? Depends how much you give 'em. Moon catching net. I've made me a moon catching net, and I'm going hunting tonight. I'll run along swinging it over my head and grab for that big ball of light. So tomorrow just look at the sky, and if there's no moon, you can bet I found what I sought, and I finally caught the moon in my moon-catching net. But if the moon's still shining there, look close underneath, and you'll get a clear look at me in the sky swinging free with a star in my moon-catching net. Hammock. Grandma sent the hammock. The good Lord sent the breeze. I'm here to do the swinging. Now, who's going to move the trees? How not to have to dry the dishes. If you have to dry the dishes, such an awful boring chore. If you have to dry the dishes, instead of going to the store. If you have to dry the dishes and you drop one on the floor, maybe they won't let you dry the dishes anymore. Stop, thief! Policeman, policeman, help me please. Someone went and stole my knees. I chase him down, but I suspect my feet and legs just won't connect. The sitter. Mrs. McTwitter, the babysitter. I think she's a little bit crazy. She thinks a babysitter's supposed to sit upon the baby. What did the carrot say to the wheat? Let us rest. I'm feeling beat. What did the paper say to the pen? I feel quite all right, my friend. What did the teapot say to the chalk? Nothing, you silly. Teapots can't talk. Shaking. Geraldine, now, stop shaking that cow. For heaven's sake, for your sake and the cow's sake. That's the dumbest way I've seen to make a milkshake. I wonder if it works. Signals. When the light is green, you go. When the light is red, you stop. But what do you do when the light turns blue with orange and lavender spots? I've never seen that happen before. Picture puzzle piece. One picture puzzle piece lying on the sidewalk. One picture puzzle piece soaking in the rain. It might be a button of blue on the coat of the woman who lived in the shoe. It might be a magical bean or a fold in the red velvet robe of a queen. It might be the one little bite of the apple her stepmother gave to Snow White. It might be the veil of a bride or a bottle with some evil genie inside. It might be a small tuft of hair, or the big bouncy belly of Bobo the bear. It might be a bit of the cloak of the Witch of the West, and she melted to smoke. It might be a shadowy trace of a tear that runs down an angel's face. Nothing has more possibilities than one old, wet picture puzzle piece. There's the puzzle piece. Put something in. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble-gumble song. Do a loony-goony dance. Cross the kitchen floor. Put something silly in the world that ain't been there before. Monsters I've met. I met a ghost, but he didn't want my head. He only wanted to know the way to Denver. I met a devil, but he didn't want my soul. He only wanted to borrow my bike for a while. I met a vampire, but he didn't want my blood. He only wanted 2 nickels for a dime. I keep meeting all the right people at all the wrong times. Rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, we'd travel all over the land. We'd play and we'd sing and wear spangly things if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band and we were up there on the stand, the people would hear us and love us and cheer us. Hooray for that rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, then we'd have million fans. We'd giggle and laugh and sign autographs if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, the people would all kiss our hands. We'd be millionaires and have extra long hair if we were a rock and roll band. But we ain't no rock and roll band. We're just 7 kids in the sand with homemade guitars and pails and jars and drums of potato chip cans. Just 7 kids in the sand, talking and waving our hands and dreaming and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be grand if we were a rock and roll band? Something missing. I remember I put on my socks. I remember I put on my shoes. I remember I put on my tie that was painted in beautiful purples and blues. I remember I put on my coat to look perfectly grand at the dance. Yet I feel there's something I may have forgot. What is it? What is it? It's his pants. Memorizing, no. Mo memorized the dictionary, but just can't seem to find a job, or anyone who wants to marry someone who memorized the dictionary. Somebody has to. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars for the eagles and starlings and gulls. Have all been complaining they're tarnished and worn. They say they want new ones we cannot afford. So please get your rags and your polishing jars. Somebody has to go polish the stars. Reflection. Each time I see the upside-down man standing in the water, I look at him and start to laugh, although I shouldn't ought to. For maybe in another world, another time, another town, maybe he is right side up and I am upside down. And that is all the poems we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the book.